Growing up, I always felt like I was living in the shadow of my younger brother, Jackson. From as far back as I can remember, my parents seemed to pour all their attention, affection, and resources into him, while I was left scrambling for scraps of their approval. Jackson was a golden child, the one who could do no wrong. If he wanted something, it appeared as if by magic. New clothes, the latest toys, private lessons for whatever hobby he picked up that week. Meanwhile, I was lucky if I got a second-hand sweater or a pat on the back for staying out of trouble. It wasn't just material things, though. It was the way they looked at him, like he was their pride and joy, while I was just there. The unfairness didn't stop at affection. It extended to money, too. By the time I was 16, I had a part-time job flipping burgers after school, not because I wanted spending money, but because my parents expected me to chip in. Rent was late, groceries were sparse, and somehow it fell on me to help keep the lights on. I'd hand over my paycheck, watching my dreams of saving for college, or even just buying a decent pair of shoes slip away. Jackson, though, he was never asked to lift a finger. He'd sit there playing video games, blissfully unaware of the bills piling up, while I scrubbed grease off my uniform and wondered why I didn't matter as much. That pattern only got worse as we grew older. When the economy tanked and Dad lost his job, my parents turned to me like I was their personal ATM. I was in my early 20s by then, working full-time and trying to build something for myself, but every phone call was the same. "We're struggling. Can you send a little something?" I grit my teeth and wire the money, even when it meant skipping meals or putting off my own bills. Jackson, meanwhile, was still living at home rent-free, with Mom and Dad covering his car insurance and phone bill. They'd say he was figuring things out, but I knew the truth. He was being coddled, protected from the real world I'd been thrown into head first. Then came the inheritance. Grandma passed away when I was 28, leaving a modest sum to be split between Jackson and me. I was stunned. Finally, something that felt fair, something that acknowledged me as part of the family. But the moment the will was read, my parents swooped in. "Jackson's been talking about starting a business," Mom said, her eyes pleading. "He could really use your share to get it off the ground. You're doing fine on your own, right?" I couldn't believe it. Fine? I'd been scraping by for years, pouring everything into them, and now they wanted me to hand over what little I'd been given? I refused, clutching that check like it was my dignity. But the guilt trips didn't stop for months. The breaking point came at my college graduation dinner. I'd worked so hard to put myself through school, nights studying after long shifts, loans I'd be paying off for decades, and I thought maybe this time they'd see me. We sat down at a cheap diner, and Dad slid a gift bag across the table. I opened it, hopeful, only to find a pack of sponges and a bottle of dish soap. "Thought you could use these for your new place," he said with chuckle. I forced a smile, but my stomach dropped. Then Jackson walked in, grinning ear to ear, and tossed a set of keys on the table. A brand new luxury car, a graduation gift from Mom and Dad. I stared at those keys, then at the cleaning supplies, and something inside me snapped. They didn't just undervalue me. They didn't value me at all. That night, I made a decision. I couldn't keep living like this, tethered to a family that only saw me as a resource to exploit. I packed my bags, found a small apartment across town, and started cutting ties. No more answering their calls. No more bailing them out. It wasn't easy. Years of conditioning had me second-guessing myself, wondering if I was being selfish, but I held firm. The first few months were quiet, almost lonely, but then the guilt trip started. Dad got sick, and suddenly I was the bad guy for not rushing back with my checkbook. "After all we've done for you," Mom sobbed over the phone. Done for me? I wanted to scream. What had they ever done but take? But here's the thing, I didn't cave, and slowly I started to thrive. Without their weight dragging me down, I poured my energy into my career, landing a promotion I'd never have chased if I'd stayed in that cycle. I met someone, too, a kind, steady person who showed me what it felt like to be cared for, not just used. My life blossomed in ways I hadn't dared to imagine, and every step forward made it clearer. My family hadn't just held me back. They'd been suffocating me. Looking back, I realized what I'd been missing all along. True family isn't a one-way street of sacrifice and obligation. It's reciprocal, supportive, a give and take that lifts everyone up. What I had growing up wasn't family. It was a transaction, and I was the one always paying the price. So when Mom called last month, voice trembling about some new crisis, I didn't hesitate. "I'm done," I said, calm and clear. "No more money, no more guilt, no more pretending I owed them anything." I hung up, and for the first time, I felt free, empowered. Even, I'd spent years building a life that was mine, and I wasn't going to let them take it away. Now, sitting in my quiet apartment with a cup of coffee and a future I'd fought for, I know I made the right choice. I'm content, finally, and that's more than they ever gave me.